again to Still Point 1210, where we pause together to breathe, to reset, and to rise. Each still point unfolds in 3 gentle movements: a 7 to 10 minute meditation to settle the body and the breath, a 12 to 15 minute reflection to open the heart and the mind, and a 3 to 5 minute moment of thankfulness to carry with you unto the rest of your day. You're invited to stay for the whole journey or to join us for just one part. There's no right way to be here, only your way. And this is your time to breathe, to reset, and to rise. I'm Sharon Campbell Rayment, and in this still point moment, we are reflecting on the story of Lazarus, a story of awakening, renewal, and returning to life. Sometimes life places us in a tomb-like space, full of stress and worry and grief, exhaustion and overwhelm. But the spiritual tradition reminds us that life can begin again. The breath itself is a small resurrection. Each inhale, a new life arriving. Each exhale is a letting go of what no longer needs to be carried. So today we enter a still point practice. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you'd like to receive future still point sessions and to stay connected. As we begin this gentle practice, it's meant to support your awareness and centering and calm, not intended to replace anything medical or mental health care. Let's begin by simply noticing our breath. My friend, you're not changing it yet. You're only noticing it. If you are seated, place your feet flatly on the floor or settle into a position that feels steady and supported. Allow your spine to lengthen, not rigid, but just awake. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly. As you breathe in, notice that both hands rise gently. And as you breathe out, notice them fall. Stay with this for a few breaths. This is our first step to ready ourselves. Neurologically, this is awareness that's interrupting the autopilot of our brains and in our minds. The brain begins to shift out of habitual looping, and the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that allows for reflection and choice, begins to come back online. Nothing has changed yet, but something important has happened. You have returned to your breath and to presence. Now, we begin gently to regulate the breath. Let your shoulders soften. Let the jaw unclench. Let your legs release their grip as we move into a slow breathing rhythm. And we breathe in for 4, 2, 3, 4. Pause. 2. Now breathe out slowly for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And pause again at the bottom for 3, 2, 1. Notice the pause at maximum inhale and the pause at maximum exhale. These pauses are powerful moments of regulation. They signal safety to the nervous system. As you exhale, imagine that you're fogging a mirror as you just continue to breathe. A warm, gentle exhalation through the nose as a and this activates the vagus nerve, the 10th cranial nerve that travels from the brainstem down through the heart and digestive system. When stimulated, the vagus nerve activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest, restore, and be still state. This is the nervous system standing down. The amygdala reduces threat signaling. Cortisol begins to drop in the body. And the body learns that it does not need to remain braced. Stay within this rhythm for several rounds. My friend, there is nothing to force, nothing to fix, just breath. You may also choose a breath watchword, a gentle word or short phrase to help you return if your mind begins to wander. Perhaps it is peace. Be still. Be still and know. Be here now. You do not need to repeat it constantly. Just let it be there, a quiet place to return. Now, as you begin to lengthen the exhale slightly, let your shoulders drop again. Let the jaw soften. Let the body release what it has been holding on to. And stay with the breath rhythm. Inhaling for 4. Pause for 2. Exhale for 6. And just pause for 3. As you exhale, return to your breath watchword. Now, if thoughts arise, simply notice them and let them go. You do not need to follow them. You do not need to fix them. Just return to the breath. Return to your word. And with each exhale, you may quietly ask, what can I release in this moment? What tension? What worry? What heaviness? You're not forcing release. You're allowing it. Just as the stone was rolled away from the tomb of Lazarus, sometimes the first step toward new life is simply letting go of something else and moving it aside. Remain here for several breaths. Then take a moment, just when you're ready, just to write a word or a short phrase. What am I releasing now? No explanation, no judgment, just naming. Now allow the breath to soften. Instead of pulling the breath in, just let it arrive. Imagine that the breath is gently knocking at the door and you simply open. You simply receive. Receiving is not effort. Receiving is allowing. You're receiving this moment exactly as it is. This breath, this stillness, the support of the chair beneath you, the ground beneath your feet, and stay with this rhythm. Allow the pause to fill the space and of the stillness to enter within. These small pauses mirror the deeper pauses we need in life, moments where something new can enter in. Your body now is relaxing. The moves into parasympathetic regulation, and the brain begins forming new associations. Calm is safe. Presence is possible. You're not reaching for calm. You're just letting calm arise in you. Something else is happening here, and it's remarkable. We often assume that the brain is the first center of intelligence in the body, but the first connection is actually the heart. The heart contains its own network of neurons, sometimes called the heart brain, and these neurons communicate directly with the brain. The heart also holds and forms memory. Memories that influence how we perceive the world, how we feel, and how we respond. The heart is also the most powerful generator of electromagnetic energy in the human body. And this energy radiates outward from us and is received by those around us, both people and animals. And the rhythm of the heart changes dependent on our emotions. Stress and anxiety create erratic patterns, but emotions like appreciation, compassion, and joy create small and smooth, coherent rhythms. And when the heart enters this space of coherence, the mind quiets, stress decreases, intuition increases, and the whole body moves into alignment. So now, bring one hand to your heart and continue just breathing. Bring to memory perhaps joy or appreciation. Perhaps somewhere that you've been at a beach, or a friend who's made you laugh. A place in nature. Let the memory come alive and feel the sun, hear the sounds, smell the air. Allow the heart to remember. Stay with that feeling while you continue to breathe, and the synchronization with the heart and the brain and the nervous system continues. Mind, body, and spirit begin to move into harmony. Now begin to widen your awareness. Notice your feet on the floor and your hands. Notice the breath that's moving naturally, and you're not leaving that breath behind, you're carrying it with you. Your mind and body are integrated, and you're not leaving the world. We are returning to the world whole. Just as Lazarus stepped from the tomb and back into life, we return to this moment. And we return to this moment renewed. Take a moment now to notice how you feel. No judgment, just awareness. Perhaps you might want to write a word or a short phrase that describes what you're feeling now. Perhaps it's calm or steadiness. Perhaps it's simply present. And when we name the experience, the nervous system encodes it. The body learns this state is available to me. And like the story of Lazarus reminds us, life can begin again, one breath at a time. Now, if you feel drawn to stay in the quiet a wee bit longer, you're welcome to do so. And if you need to move on with your day, go gently and carry this moment of pause with you. Just simply notice what you have received here and allow it to travel with you until the rest of your day. And if you're able, stay for this moment of reflection. There are moments in life when something inside of us feels closed. Not dramatic, not obvious, just quiet. The energy we once had is gone. The direction we once felt sure about has faded, and something in us has grown tired. Many people carry that feeling right now. Perhaps a job that no longer feels meaningful, a relationship that has changed shape, a season of exhaustion that seems to have lasted longer than expected. And life moves forward on the outside. But inside, it can feel as though a stone has rolled quietly across the entrance of something important. The ancient story of Lazarus begins in a place like that. A family has lost someone they love, friends have gathered, grief fills the air. Two sisters stand in the middle of it all. One speaks words of faith even in her confusion. The other simply collapses at Jesus' feet and weeps. And the remarkable thing about the story is not what happens or what Jesus says first, it's what he does. He weeps. The story tells us that even in the presence of deep spiritual power, grief is not rushed past. Loss is not minimized. Pain is not explained away. It is felt and it is honored. Many people in our world carry quiet grief. Not always the grief of death, but the grief of expectations that never came true. Dreams that took a different path. Parts of our life that never unfolded the way that we imagined. The Lazarus story reminds us that places are not failures, they are human. And sometimes they become the very places where something new begins. Eventually, the story moves towards the tomb and a stone is rolled away. Jesus calls Lazarus by name, and Lazarus walks out, alive again. But something surprising happens next. He's still wrapped in burial clothes. Life has returned, but he cannot yet move freely. So Jesus turns to the people standing nearby and says something very simple. Unbind him. And suddenly the miracle becomes communal. Life has begun again. Lazarus has life again. But the people around him must help remove the claws that still hold him, that still bind him. It is one of the most honest moments in the story, because life often works that way. Sometimes we begin again before we feel fully free. A person leaves a difficult season but still carries fear. Someone begins a new chapter but still feels unsure of themselves. Someone finds hope again but still carries the echoes of old wounds. New life begins, yet some of the old wrappings remain. And this is where community matters. Not large crowds, not loud solutions, just people who help loosen the bindings. A conversation that reminds you of who you are. A friend who sits beside you while you find your footing again. Someone who believes in the next chapter of your life before you fully do. We rarely return to life alone. Something else in the story feels quietly important. Before any miracle happens, there is a pause. A moment where nothing changes. A moment where grief is felt and breath slows and the story simply waits. In our fast-moving world, those pauses are rare, but they may be the very places where life begins to shift. So for a moment now we pause. We take a slow breath in and gently let it out. There is no need to force anything. Just notice the breath arriving and notice the moment after the breath leaves. That small space, that quiet pause. Ancient spiritual traditions often describe this as the still point, the place where the noise softens and something deeper becomes visible. Perhaps what we call new life does not always arrive with dramatic moments. Perhaps sometimes it begins here, in a breath, in a pause, in the gentle realization that the story of our life is not finished. The Lazarus story ends with a simple but powerful invitation. Come out. Not perfectly, not completely healed. Just take a step forward and trust that as you do, the people around you, the right people, will help loosen those clothes that bind you, that cling, and life has a remarkable way of returning. Sometimes slowly, sometimes quietly, sometimes through the simple courage of taking the next breath. And perhaps that is where new beginnings always start. Right here, in this moment, and in this breath. Before we move back into the rhythm of the day, just take a moment to notice where you are right now. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the chair that's supporting you. Notice the gentle rise and the fall of your breath. Let the breath come in slowly and gently release it. In the story of Lazarus, life returns in a moment when everyone believed the story was finished. Sometimes our lives feel like that too. Seasons that seem closed, chapters that feel heavy, days that feel uncertain. And yet in the midst of these moments, there is a quiet gift still present. So allow your attention to shift towards thankfulness. Not the kind that forces positivity, just a gentle noticing of what is already here. Perhaps there is a person in your life who has walked beside you when things were difficult. Perhaps there's a small moment from today, a conversation, a bit of sunlight, a quiet breath that reminds you life is still moving forward. Maybe the blessing is simply that you are here now, breathing, aware, still part of the unfolding story of your life. My friend, take another slow breath in, and as you breathe out, bring to mind one thing again that you're thankful for. Let that sense of gratitude settle into your heart, because gratitude has a way of softening the mind and settling the body. As you return to the rest of your day, carry this awareness with you. Life, my friend, is unfolding. Hope still finds its way into unexpected places. And sometimes the next chapter begins with something as simple as breath and a moment of thankfulness. If this practice speaks to you, you're welcome to subscribe to my YouTube channel and pause with us again. Feel free to share this moment with somebody you think might need it today. Breathe and reset and rise this day. And until next time, walk slowly, listen deeply, speak gently, and receive the world with an open heart and a smile. God bless you, my friend.